Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about every movie that I haven't reviewed yet. Again, I wish I didn't have to do this, but the problem is I kind of have to. And the reason I didn't do separate videos as I intended before is because this is my only excuse, really. Just one thing came up after another, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another. And now we're here. So, since things are just not stopping, I'm just gonna have to shove a lot of things in just to one video. Don't worry, I'll still tell you as much as I can about these films and my overall thoughts on them. But they're not going to be as in-depth as I probably want them to be. Starting off with our first film, we have Fantastic Beasts and The Crimes of Grindelwald. I am a fan of Harry Potter. I grew up watching Harry Potter. I own all of the Harry Potter movies except for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And the first one I saw in theaters was Order of the Phoenix, and I pretty much liked every Harry Potter movie, and I've been a fan of this franchise for a long time now. And it's sad to say that I was very disappointed with this movie. The movie looks good. There are good performances in it. Where the movie falls flat for me is the script. And the movie opens up pretty much with a really horribly shot and edited sequence. I'm not really sure what to call it. Basically, it's so confusing I couldn't tell what was happening. Might be one of the worst sequences I've seen in a movie out of the whole year. It was so bad. The color grading was so dark. Everything's so dark and everything's all close up in your face like this. And you just can't tell what's happening. The characters in this movie are, well, the ones that were in the first Fantastic Beasts were our protagonist characters. They're good. Everyone else, the rest of the characters are fine to not so fine. Where the movie works for me is Eddie Redmayne's performance as Newt Scamander. The Fantastic Beasts themselves. Jacob is in this movie. He comes back, and I really like that they brought him back because Jacob's pretty much the audience character, and he's an entertaining character on his own. And when those two are on screen, the movie works really well. The plot itself is not very interesting. The background storylines of who Credence is and what happened before we know him now is really confusing and doesn't make any sense for me. And the love story, they tried to shoe in a love story, and it feels so forced, and I really wanted to leave when they started doing that. It was so cringeworthy. And it also feels like it exists just to set up other movies. I will say this, when Dumbledore is on screen, the movie works, along with Jacob and Newt Scamander. And the actor who plays Dumbledore, I forgot his name, but he worked really well. And unfortunately, he's not in the movie too much. So all in all, I'll just give Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald a C. I was very disappointed with this film. The special effects are great. The script, not so much. Here's a movie I'm excited to talk about, Creed 2. Now, a little background on this franchise. I've only seen the first 4 Rocky movies, and I've seen Creed. I haven't seen Rocky 5 or Rocky Balboa. But I've seen everything else, and Creed 1 I thought was really great. And Creed 2 is pretty close to that first one. It's not quite there for me, but it works really well. What this movie does is it makes the fight sequences really fun and exciting and cool, but what's more interesting is that the characters are even more interesting than the fights themselves. And I think that was a great direction to go, because characters are more important than action for me. The only times this movie doesn't work is the training montages. I don't know, they just didn't really get me excited because there's not a lot of dialogue going on. And when it's just characters interacting with other characters, Rocky Balboa interacting with Adonis Creed, and Adonis Creed's life and what he's going through, all of that is really, really compelling and interesting, emotional, and it grips you emotionally too. And that's, I guess, why I found the training montages a little dull. And the story itself, you know what the story is going to be, but it's not really a huge issue. You don't remember this movie for like its plot overall. You're going to remember it for the characters. Overall, Creed 2 was pretty great. Just almost on par with the first Creed. This Creed movie is definitely up there with one of the best of the year for me. And I'm going to give Creed 2 an A. One of the best movies I've seen all year, and it is much better than this movie called Robin Hood.
I called it a movie.
A movie. What a disaster this movie was. I don't think there's anything good about this movie. The acting from everyone, Jamie Foxx, Taron Egerton, who plays Robin Hood. Jamie Foxx is kind of his mentor. And you also have that guy from Rogue One who wouldn't stop yelling. When it's, I'm just going to call the guy from Rogue One by his character name in Rogue One, Director Krennic, because he essentially plays the same character, only he's more over the top. I would recommend this movie as a so bad it's good film. The acting is awful. Taron Egerton, he does not work as Robin Hood at all. You just hear, oh, it's a British actor. It's Eggsy. He works really well as Eggsy. Not Robin Hood. Not even close. The special effects in this movie are awful. The action sequences are hilarious, and there's quite a few of them. When it's Director Krennic or Jamie Foxx, whenever the movie has either of those two on screen, the movie works as a so bad it's good movie. But when it doesn't, it's really boring. But overall, I would recommend it as a so bad it's good movie. I'm not going to bother grading so bad it's good movies anymore, aside from a serious grade, and it gets enough. There's so much more I could talk about, but I just want to savor the experience for you. Trust me, you are going to thank me if you're looking for a so bad it's good movie. And lastly, we have Boy Erased. And I saw this movie a couple days ago, and I thought this movie was pretty great. And I was trying to pinpoint what I didn't like about the movie, because I was trying to figure out what was missing, and I think I figured out what I don't like about this movie. And that towards the end, this movie is trying to have an emotional punch at the end. It's supposed to hit you really hard, and you feel something. You feel emotional, but I don't think it hits as hard as it wants to. Because at the end, it tries to give a little arc to certain characters, to a certain character, and I don't think the movie had enough time to make you feel it. And that's really my only issue with the film. I think a couple of shots are weird, and how, like, a car is just driving by and the camera is just, like, facing upwards, and you just see, like, the top of the car, and the movie movie did that. It did that a few times, and I'm just thinking to myself, why? Those are all my complaints. The performances in this movie are great. You have the guy from Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. He was great in that movie, and he also works just as well in that movie as he does here. Russell Crowe is great for the time he's on screen. He's not in the movie a lot, but he works really well. And Nicole Kidman, she doesn't have a lot of screen time either, but when she's on screen, the movie works really well. And this movie has a pretty strong script and direction, and it never goes over the top cartoonish, like crazy. I don't know what that was. It doesn't go over the top ridiculous. It gets a little ridiculous, but it still feels kind of grounded in reality. It doesn't feel like it has a broken tone, and that's something that works. And I'm going to give Boy Erased an A-. So there are the films that I saw that I haven't talked about yet. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of any of these 4 movies down below. I would like to hear what you thought of them. And my social media links will be in the description down below. I'm mostly on Twitter, but feel free to follow me everywhere else. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up, and I forgot what it's called. I think it stars Clint Eastwood. A Mule or something. That's the movie that I'm going to go see soon. Until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.